It's been a while, I guess you could say, but I thought this was something worth commenting on. Now, the site that I'm looking at here is Drama Report. You can tell they're really professional by the fact that their banner apparently doesn't scale to your browser, probably because I have AdBlock installed. But yeah, that's what you have to put up with. The latest news. Yes, I understand that Keemstar, whatever his name is pretty reprehensible. He's done some pretty reprehensible things. But he does report on the drama. And he's not the one that I found this out from. I actually found this out from TotalBiscuit's SoundCloud logs, which he tweeted out. I happened to check Twitter. Anyway, being the provocateur that Keemstar is, the title of this article is Cancer-Ridden TotalBiscuit Finally Quit Social Media to Enjoy Last Few Years Without It. Yeah, really, shots fired, I guess you could say there. Now, the reason that TotalBiscuit once again has decided to quit Twitter, I think this time finally for good, which is probably a good thing, is he doesn't take criticism very well. I know it's rather interesting considering he critiques games, right? You would think that someone in his position could appreciate and would understand the importance of being able to, present criticism, constructive criticism, of course, in a rather open marketplace for people to discuss. But strangely enough, that is not who TotalBiscuit is. And we have seen evidence of this in the past with how he decided to disable comments on all his videos. Never mind the fact that his videos are received overwhelmingly positive. He still has decided to disable the comments because he is too weak to accept any criticism. If he finds, he's said it before, if he finds one comment among a flood of support, that one comment would just eat away at him. And if you can consider, or if you compare this sort of reaction to a Let's Player like Darkside Phil, who is pretty much universally loathed by a lot of the other YouTubers, shun this person, and his fan base actually consists of a lot of people who simply watch him to dislike his content. If you compare Darkside Phil to TotalBiscuit, Darkside Phil still has his comments on in the majority of his videos. Sure, he disables the likes ratio because he knows people are flooding his videos with dislikes because of the sort of person he is. That is not the case with TotalBiscuit. TotalBiscuit has very positive like to dislike ratio, but he still felt the need to shut down his comments on his videos because he can't stand criticism. So, getting a little bit more into the crux of the matter, what happened was TotalBiscuit sort of submitted an update for a game that he took a look at 2 years ago called Warframe. And in this update, he mentioned, it was a video update and it was on his main channel. He mentioned that he actually had a whole bunch of the premium currency for that game, which allowed him to power level right to it. He had the best Warframe in the game, and he'd only spent a little bit of time on it. He spent a lot of money, and he got a lot of referral currency from referring people in his stream to it. And after, doing the video, there was a very in-depth post. It was very civil, posted to the Cynical Brit subreddit. Now, as we know, TotalBiscuit makes it difficult to see criticism, and the Cynical Brit subreddit is actually run by TotalBiscuit fans. It's not controlled by him, so he really has no authority to censor or restrict the content in it. But there are some guidelines, and I think they're pretty reasonable. However, apparently TotalBiscuit, he can't control the content sites that he frequents. So he found it inevitable that he would stumble upon this thread in the subreddit, and he read it. He knew it was going to be bad for him. He knew he shouldn't, but he read it anyway. And after reading it and disagreeing with it, he wrote a dismissive post about it on Twitter. And it was, "Wake up, see highly upvoted thread telling me how to quote-unquote review games, roll eyes, go back to bed." And a lot of people called him out on this because he was being excessively dismissive due to the fact that this one user, considered what TotalBiscuit, the video that TotalBiscuit had done, a review. And it's a common mistake to make, really, because there is a sort of a blurred line between what is a review, what is a first impression, what is a let's look at, whatever have you. There seems to be a sort of a blurred line there. And TotalBiscuit, he's very adamant that he doesn't do reviews, which is fine. I really don't see a problem there. I think this was simply a user or a viewer who really wasn't all that familiar with TotalBiscuit's content, saw the video on Warframe, had been playing Warframe, and disagreed with some of the conclusions that TotalBiscuit reached because TotalBiscuit was a premium level player. And if you look at the title of this player's thread, I keep calling him a player, this viewer's thread, he titled it Biscuit. And there are not many people who know, or watch, I should say, because we don't really know TotalBiscuit. There are not that many people that watch TotalBiscuit that refer to him only by Biscuit. Usually he's called TB or TotalBiscuit. Just Biscuit is pretty rare. And as you can see, the first or second comment here was something about calling him Biscuit. This is the first time I've seen someone call TB Biscuit. Yeah, that was the second highest voted comment in this thread. And in this thread, like I was saying, the viewer expresses his own view on the game and why TotalBiscuit's view and opinion on it wasn't very close to reality. He didn't think that TotalBiscuit should be allowed to use premium currency in a free-to-play game if he was going to quote-unquote review it. Now, as TB says, he's not reviewing it. But the interesting thing was his vitriolic reaction to this on Twitter. And then he, later on, after, I guess, waking up again, he proceeded to post a couple of sound blogs to SoundCloud, audio blogs at SoundCloud, both of which have the comments disabled on them. The first time that I've seen that in a long time. So obviously he's not interested in listening to any more commentary, any more feedback at all. And he talks about how no matter what his reaction to it was, he was either going to be dishonest with himself or he was going to have to play sort of a sociopath and lie to people so that they would like him, in his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion, right? I have nothing against that. The problem is he is actively trying to prevent other people from presenting their opinions and their critique of the work that he puts out in the public. He tried to do this little thing where he called what a lot of people said against him, against his tweet, he tried to spin it as a personal attack when it really wasn't, because how it originated was a viewer had critiqued work, professional work, because TotalBiscuit is getting paid for the videos on his channel. A viewer had critiqued professional work of TotalBiscuit, and TotalBiscuit didn't agree with it. So, I mean, if he wants to call that Twitter channel his personal channel, then he shouldn't be using it for business, should he? And if he decides to use it for business, then all of a sudden, the tweets that he puts on there should be considered business as well, even if it is his personal channel. So people are criticizing his reaction to somebody's critique of his work. We're not critiquing the life of TotalBiscuit. We're not critiquing the personal life of TotalBiscuit. We are critiquing his professional life and the way he conducts himself in the public, especially regarding criticism. And this was constructive criticism. I don't really think anybody can really objectively look at this and say it wasn't. As a matter of fact, ironically enough, TotalBiscuit would actually he's more like Anita Sarkeesian in this sense, in which he has a very hard time dealing with criticism. He has hired therapists to help him on this. And this is a YouTuber who has a large positive following, and he has a lot of influence in the industry. I like him. I like a lot of his content. I think he is definitely one of the most thoughtful gaming critics out there. He is very sincere, and he's very articulate. I appreciate that. But this seems to be his Achilles heel, And this is not the first time that it has bitten him. But hopefully, now that he's leaving social media, it will be the last time. So where do we go from here? Well, according to the audio blogs, TotalBiscuit has handed off his Twitter account, his Facebook account, pretty much all his social media. He's handed off the SoundCloud, and he will not be doing any more audio blogs, which is disappointing because I enjoyed hearing his opinion on a lot of the things that were happening around the web. It's unfortunate that it has come to this, but I understand that for his own personal sanity, it would seem that he needs to do this. However, the one thing I wish he would stop doing is sort of playing the cancer card. Now, I sympathize greatly with him. It really sucks that someone of his age has what is, by the doctors, termed to be terminal cancer. I wouldn't really wish that on anyone, but that doesn't give you a free pass. In other words, he wants to be part of the YouTube community yet, and if he can't handle the strain of the YouTube community while having cancer, then he needs to step down. He can't have the rules bent for him any more than Anita Sarkeesian can have the rules bent for her while on YouTube. If you're going to be putting out work in the public forum that you're getting paid for, you are open to critique on that media, on that content. So he needs to stop. He needs to step away from this cancer business. If the cancer is making it where he can't do his job on YouTube, then he's going to have to quit YouTube. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, he really needs to sort of suck it up and say, look, I realize that, I'm playing with one hand tied behind my back now, but I'm just going to push on and deal with it. That is really the best I can do. And stop expecting people to make exceptions for you because you have an impairment. That's not the way that anybody on YouTube should be treated. We shouldn't be giving exemptions to powerful individuals on YouTube simply because they are a woman, or because they have cancer, or because they say they're autistic. Any of these reasons. We should be treating all ideas equally, and they're all subject to critique in a constructive manner, which is exactly what this person who instigated, I should say. He wasn't intentionally being provocative. That is what this person instigated when they critiqued TotalBiscuit's professional work. So anyway, I imagine a lot of other outlets will be covering what happened with TotalBiscuit, but I thought it was important that I made my thoughts known on it because I'm nobody. But I think the ideas that we have should sort of stand on their own, apart from who is saying them. And I think that I have pretty much pegged the situation accurately. Thanks for watching.